I'm gonna call the regular Liberty Union.
Alright. Okay, you're good.
All right, I'm gonna call the regular Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education meeting to order. Roll call, Ms. Boyer.
Ms. Cato? Here. Mr. Hookrattle?
Here.
Mr. Moore? Mr. Shook?
Here.
Dr. Walter?
Here.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 4, public participation. This is the time we set aside for the public to come and express their views, opinions, things we need to know about. I don't see anybody out there. Do you have anybody, Dirk? All right. Item number 5, department presentation. Dirk, Chris, you're up.
Alright. Thank you all for taking the time to hear what we're doing at the IT department. So when I came into the position, my priority was securing our infrastructure and our backups, and making sure that my clicker works. There we go.
Check.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. Yeah, so with that, this year, the end of the academic year, we reconfigured and secured all of our backup infrastructure. So we make sure that our servers and our switches all have copies stored in either the cloud or on our local resources here in the district. Now, right now, we have 1 copy stored at AWS every month, and we have 3 copies here, or 3 months worth here. The reason being, whenever you restore, it's a lot faster, it's a lot cheaper to do it locally, but we still have that off-site copy in case any physical damage happens or everything's corrupted here. Yep. And let's see. We also finally set RTO and RPO goals. RTO is recovery time objective, so how fast can we get back on our feet after we go down? Right now we're set to 24 to 48 hours, so 2 days where we can be down. And we have a RPO goal, which is recovery point objective. So how many backups do we take during a certain time frame? For example, right now we're user files, daily backup. Every day we back that stuff up. And then our infrastructure, twice a month, we back it up. Send a copy to Amazon, keep a copy here. We also set up automated infrastructure database backups, which sounds really complicated, but all it is our new admin Noah wrote a script, logs into the server, pulls the database file down, uploads it to Google as a backup. Usually if a server goes down, it's a database error. So we can fix that in 15 minutes now that we have the backups. Before, it would have been an involved process of rebuilding everything.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
So, want to highlight Noah here, you just did, but I want everybody to notice that he did that, and that Noah has done some writing of programming,
Yep.
and so he's added a lot.
Yeah. He's brought a really valuable skill set that we haven't had here, and I fully intend to utilize that as much as possible. Because the more he automates, the less it takes off our plate daily, weekly. Yeah, he's been great. He's my favorite. So for example, we have that process set up for our inventory server, our wireless controller, things like that, anything that has a database. Along with that, we have security improvements we're rolling out. Like I mentioned before, we're doing daily backups for user files. So every day, our Google Drive files are backed up completely, and that is a direct counter to the threat of ransomware. So because we use Google so heavily in the district, even our Windows computers have access to our Google file system. So if one of them were to be infected with ransomware, it's going to corrupt that user's drive and any shared drive they have access to. But since we have the daily backup, we'll be able to restore at any point.
And that's what they usually do, they just hold it, they hold your data.
They hold it and hope you don't have backups.
Hope you don't back up,
Yeah. So, and they like the easy targets, so. Along with the ransomware, we're requiring all staff to go through phishing training. so PH phishing, FI. Just so they can identify when a phishing email is attempting to get credentials from them, etc. We're really leaning hard into them just contacting us if they have a question about an email. It takes us a minute to review an email to see if it's legit or not, and it saves us a lot of time. I'd rather do that than clean up other messes. And then the last security we're rolling out is stricter BYOD controls for staff and students. Right now, the staff wireless password is pretty well known to all staff, and they like to keep it written down on their desk. Even though we pick it up and throw it away, they'll do it again. So we are doing something called MAC filtering. So any device a staff user wants to use on the network has to come to us. We have to verify it's getting security updates, and then we take its MAC address off of it. Basically, it's like a bouncer at a nightclub. If your MAC's not on the list, you don't get in. So they can know the password, they just can't connect because their machine ID is not in our system. We've redone our BYOD form as well, just to be stricter with what devices people can bring in. We're not gonna let people bring computers from 2007 in that haven't had an update, since 09 probably. And same thing with phones. A lot of staff members want to use their smartphones on the network, that's fine, but it has to be up to date. It can't be from years and years ago and not getting updates anymore. Summer projects, we are not reinventing the wheel here. The main one that I'm excited about is we're going back to One Call Now for our emergency calling system. So we're currently on Bright Arrow, and ever since we switched to Bright Arrow, it's been nothing but problems. The main problem with Bright Arrow is we've had calls not go out. And when we call and report to Bright Arrow, they shrug their shoulders and say, we don't know why it didn't go out. And you can't have that with an emergency calling system at all. So we're going back to One Call Now. It has a lot of great quality of life features for the community. They can update their own numbers, stop calls if they want, all from an easy to use portal. So we're laying the groundwork for that this summer, and then we're flipping the switch over fair break. Also during the summer, we've done our device evaluation, so we've collected all student devices that's been deployed. They've been out for 14 months, and this is the longest deployment and the largest deployment we've ever done. Repairs have gone up, but not as bad as I thought, so I'm grateful for that. We had a 39% increase in the number of parts we had to order this summer, and we had to order 62 full device replacements. For reference, our last normal summer, 2019, we ordered 94 parts, no replacements. This year is also a device refresh year for the high school. So we purchased 384 devices for the high school. They are already inventory and rolled, ready to hand out. I can thank Noah and the summer helpers for that. They really busted their butts the last 2 weeks to get that done for us. Fun fact, our system administrator, Noah, was actually here as a summer helper when we refreshed the high school last. So he's right on time, that's what I tell him. And then one more thing for summer is we're restructuring a lot of our virtual servers, moving away from thick provisioning to thin provisioning. All that means is we're using our storage area network better, so we can use what we have more efficiently and reduce the number of data store failures, which is something we had at the end of last academic year we had to deal with. Last but not least, our 3 summer helpers have been great. They're all graduates from the CTE program at high school. They've been phenomenal, very lucky and proud to have employed them. They're getting class credit helping us this summer for their college programs they're going into this fall. And just so grateful that they've been able to help us.
So they all going to University of Cincinnati, all of them, or not?
I believe Brock is going to the Career Center.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other 2 are going to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yep.
And this, I just wanted to say that that's the program that the board approved 2 years ago. And these kids, they're gonna be part of that group where they can earn, their way through school, and the university places them, and
Yeah, I think they're our first group of graduates, right?
Yeah,
In this program,
yeah. Well, they had a vision for themselves because they got into it with freshmen.
Yeah.
When they were juniors, so they were able to hit that mark.
So they've been great. They're all really hard workers. I think they're going to do really well.
Yeah, they are.
Short and sweet. I don't want to bore you guys with technical jargon up here all day, but if you have any questions, I can take them now, or my details are up there if you want to contact me. I'm usually always available.
When you say no, you talking about Barker?
No Barker.
Okay,
That's the one.
that's the one.
Yeah, he, so when it was posted, Dirk was working on it pretty hard. He says, nah, I don't, I'm trying to pull it away from Baltimore, get to Columbus, whatever.
Mhm.
And, so we convinced him that, that's a short commute. You
Yeah.
can still be in Columbus and help us out, so.
Yeah, he said he'd come on temporary, but we got him to sign the papers, so. All right, well, thank you all.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for.
you.
All right. 5B, Mary Davis, Board Docs Overview.
Okay, first I wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to work here. I appreciate it so much, and everybody that I have met has been wonderful and so kind. So if there's anything though ever that you need, email me, call me, I can give you my cell phone number and you can text me, so just let me know. Okay, so I just wanted to show you really quick, the way the agenda was put together this time was in a Word document, just like Alice had always put it together, which is a good way too. That's the way I did it when I was at Toll's Career and Technical Center, and then when I went to Bexley, we used Board Docs. And it definitely has a lot of benefits. You can pull everything up in one place. It has a great search engine, so, I mean, once we get several years in there, you could put in whatever you might wanna search for. And it'll show you what meetings that particular thing happened at. So it really has great capabilities. So I just kinda wanted to show you. I'm sure we would have a link on our website so that anybody from the public could go in and they would just see this interpublic site. They wouldn't be able to get into the back side of the program, but this is what it would look like when they click on it. The LU is a logo that Dirk had sent me, and I'm sure he can probably make it smaller because it was kind of a large size, but I wanted to put something in there so you could see what that would look like. And then underneath of here, I have all of your names. And then I just need to find a list to make sure I have all the, like, I would assume that you have your organizational meeting probably already scheduled. And so I'll fix that, but I just really wanted to throw some information in there so you could see what that front page would look like to the public. But then I also wanted to log in so that I can show you what it looks like. So here is today's meeting. But if I click here at the 2021, the June 14th really is just a dummy meeting. There's not really good or real information in it. But eventually, I mean, you could have years worth of meetings in there and be able to just pop in there and take a look at them.
That populates every month, it gets bigger and bigger.
It does,
Right.
it does. So, we're on today's meeting, and I'm gonna go in to view the agenda. So I did wanna show you, if you look at item number 3 where it says discussion and approval of the minutes, I wanted to show you 2 ways that it could be done. So there is literally just the cut and paste of the minutes. And when you do cut and paste it, because it's done in Word, it might be a little bit wonky. If you look at it, your letters may not completely line up. But I wanted to show you this option too. where I printed the minutes to a PDF and just attached them.
Now, can you still search?
You
When it's the
can.
PDF, it'll search the PDF?
You can, as long as you print a document to a PDF or you use a special kind of scanner. So he said not to scan things on our copy machine and send them to ourselves because it wouldn't have that, is it called OCR?
Yeah, basically it allows the PDF to be read like a Word document. You can see individual words as opposed to just an image.
Just like a picture.
Yeah.
But if I ever did an attachment, and I'm not sure that that's what would be wanted anyways, but if we did ever do an attachment, I would make sure that I printed it to a PDF so that it would be searchable, because that is such a good option. And then just to kind of show you here, under the monthly financial statements, so there is all of April's items. Her items, if you notice, there's a public content and then there's an administrative content. So coming in from the public side, they wouldn't be able to see anything in that administrative content. But you would be able to, and then you could click on it and see whatever information she's given me to put in there. And all of her items are listed as information, if you look here where it says type. But then when you get down to the very last item, that's where you would vote to approve her pieces. And so then if I go ahead and scroll down, there's the new business financial.
Would this be interactive on a cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. And so the important thing here is that when you get to that agenda item, you have to click on the attachment, read the attachment, and you have to get out of the attachment to get to the next agenda item. You have to be moving back and forth, don't you?
Yeah, like on the OPSI negotiated agreement, when you click on it to actually see it, it is gonna open up in another tab.
Right. Then you have to click out of that to get back to the agenda. That's the sequence in terms of working the agenda. You're gonna use a device.
But you can go to the print button also and just print your agenda.
Print your stuff out.
Yes, yeah, and you would, when you hit the print really anywhere that you're at, it'll come up and there's a simple agenda, a detailed agenda, or just that current item, and you would just wanna print the detailed agenda if you wanted to have everything. And that's what I would print out and have in here, and print out and send to you.
So in terms of managing a meeting, for those of you that want to, you would print the detailed agenda, have that in front of you, not have to move back and forth, and just keep moving through on your device to look at attachments. It's one way of managing it. Some people are comfortable moving back and forth, others are comfortable having the physical agenda and opening up attachments on their phone or a device.
And so an email could be sent that just said the agenda is available on board docs, or it could say that it's available and then I could still attach all those pieces like you've always gotten. So
Can the public search the agenda as well, or is that an authenticated person only? Do you know?
you know, that is a good question. I'll find out.
First one of the year.
I will find out. Something that is really, I know in working with this particular agenda that you did get for tonight, when things change, then it throws off all the numbering, which is fine, but you just have to get back in there and correct it. But like, for instance, if April and Mike took a look at this and said, no, I want the extended days to be before resignations, you know, for whatever reason, then I just grab it, I pull it up there, and it just automatically, so it's so nice and user-friendly in that way. And so I just basically put this together just like the agenda is,
You didn't have a running, continuing, agenda like we're using tonight. This is modified somewhat from that. This isn't running and continuing, is it? All of the exhibits, for example, in this, the agenda and then the exhibits are flowing right behind it. You gave us one example up there of that, but the rest of the agenda is a link to an exhibit, right?
well, really any of these pieces, for instance, resignations,
Right.
I put the content right there
Okay.
and so there's not
Okay.
like an additional attachment.
Okay.
If you notice next to any item that has this little piece of paper here, that means there is an attachment that you could click on. So in this particular one, I did the copy and paste so that it really looks just like you're used to getting. Everything just kind of, you just have to keep scrolling through. But then I also attached it again, just so that you could kind of see the difference between something being cut and pasted into the body of the agenda, which is the way it's always been put together, and then how it looks if there would just be an attachment there. And sometimes there might be an attachment that you may approve, but you wanna kind of look at it and discuss, so you wouldn't want it to be available for the public to see right away. For instance, sometimes the negotiated agreements, I have been told to put those into administrative content so that you can take a look at it, and then once it's approved, then I could move that up into the public area so that, you know, folks could go in to hear from the public and actually open it up and see it.
Do you have any preferences?
I don't mind using this at all. I actually think our friends over at Fairfield Union use board docs. I've tried to look at some of their stuff at times. So, it seems pretty user-friendly.
It's
So,
really user-friendly, and like if you would have a couple meetings and decide that you wanted the order of things changed around for any reason, it's super easy. It's just a couple clicks and it's changed, and then for the following meeting, it could be set up more the way you wanted it to be set up.
So, next month, it would be in here, we'd be able to get it on our phones, but as well, you get the little detailed agenda print, and we could have printed copies as well, so we can document
Right.
via print what we're doing
Right.
and follow it on our mobile device.
And when
or,
I
you know,
email you
electronic.
to let you know that it's ready, I can go ahead and print a detailed agenda and attach it to the email, and whatever other, you know, like April's reports, I'll still attach all of that to your email, but it'll also be available in here.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's both available for, you know, for a couple 3 months or whatever, and then, you know, we could move to this full-time or something.
Get used to it.
I don't have an issue with it. If it's easier for you, and we still get the detailed agenda, I don't see an issue with that at all.
Oh my God, that
Us old
makes it easier,
people.
so.
Yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, I said us old people.
Yeah,
Well, the most important thing is that it archives everything.
yeah.
That's the best part of this.
No, I know I've gone back and tried to pull old agendas for stuff, and it, you know, the search functionality would be nice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that part
would
is
be really
so
nice.
good.
So,
Does anyone have any questions? I think, will we eventually have board policy here too?
Yeah, well, so, we have a contract, the board got into a contract with, the OSBA, and it's a board docs. And so that's what, when it kinda line those things up, so our policy is board docs.
Okay, so if you look over here then, to the far right where it says policies, I think OSBA, I know we had just gotten our policy at Bexley plugged into this, and so when we would click here on policies, either as a user, which you will be set up as, or even as the public, when they click there, all of the policy categories will show up, it has also a great search functionality to it, so like a parent could get in there and put in, you know, just think of the many things that they might wanna look into, and they can put that in and it'll just very quickly pull up every policy that has that particular word in it.
That's good, because today, the way the website is, if you click on the policy, if you click on, you have to click on each category, you can still search, but like,
Yeah.
you gotta, yeah, it's a
We-
little bit more cumbersome.
We need to update that, but we do have board docs policy. We
Okay.
Probably.
Well, I think OSBA maybe because you just are
Yeah.
getting board docs, but I'm sure, I'll email, Kenna Haycox tomorrow and
Okay.
ask her when that part might be ready. But
So
it's
do-
great too,
So during a meeting, you can reference policy.
yeah. So I was just gonna log out again really quick, I meant to show you in the public site. We'll get a little smaller logo there. But the public would just click right here and be able to see the agenda. They could click down here and open up 2021 and see all the agendas that might be in there. So anyway, I think it's a great tool. Do you have, are you okay with, for instance, if you look at the board minutes, with it being cut and pasted into the body there? Or would you prefer it to look like that and just have the attachment? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
She's okay with it either way.
I am. Either way is perfectly fine.
Well, I think the board was suggesting maybe we'll do both for a couple of months and then move away.
Okay,
In case, you know, people are having difficulty or whatever.
okay.
Do it both for a couple of months and then move.
I don't have a preference, it doesn't even matter to me.
I guess we won't have to do it for a couple of months.
Okay. But I'll still make copies. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna run out to my desk as soon as we're done here and print off everything else, because all you have there is an agenda, you don't have the pieces.
I got it right here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want these?
Yeah, I'll have to follow along. I've read them on my little phone, but that way I can draw pictures and stuff.
Okay.
Give me something
You
to
want
doodle
me
on,
to-
maybe?
Yeah. All right,
Thanks,
thank you
Larry.
very much.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you so much.
Drive carefully.
Thank you. You too. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, number 6, discussion and approval of the minutes.
Okay, we have one correction on page 4. There was a typo in the dollar amount. It's marked out. It's highlighted yellow. It was $92,751 and 71 cents, and it should have been 60,000. All the rest of the numbers were correct, just that one was incorrect. That's all I have.
And that should take us to page, I say that every time, John, right back, and thank you.
You paused just long enough, didn't you?
Yeah.
You gotcha.
No other corrections? Do I have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cato, Mr. Hookerattle. To approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education held on June 14th, 2021 as printed. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookerattle?
Yes.
Mr. Shudd?
Yes.
Dr. Walden?
Yes.
Number 7, monthly financial statements. Ms. Boyer?
All right, you have our bank reconciliation. And then you have our monthly financial report. Really, there's not a lot to say about the monthly financial report. It's the end of the year. You have on, page 8, the interest. And then I wanted to bring up the Fair School funding plan was signed by the governor, which really doesn't affect our finances a lot for at least the next 2 years. We'll see what happens after that. The choice is another thing though, and, for doing the direct funding, we'll have to watch our enrollment figures, cause now the money isn't going through us anymore, so watching what money's going in and out isn't an ability to do anymore. It's going directly to those other schools. So we'll have to pay attention. We knew our enrollment was dropping anyway a little each year. We'll have to see what happens. Then on page 9 is, where we were at the end of the year, and almost everything's 100%. Where was I? The capital outlay. It's only at 47%, and that was because some of the items went to the ESSER grant. Other items were going to be starting this current year. We just weren't real sure on when they were going to be starting, so it was kind of figured in there. The other thing, which isn't on here, is our food service. You know, we weren't sure how that was going to come out, and it really came out okay. I moved, money from salaries and benefits over to the ESSER grant, and I was allowed to do that because they had such a loss in income, so I moved enough over to at least put them so they're gonna be starting out right about even. And, we just found out yesterday, I think it was, that, they will be getting, well, we're not sure how much, but they should be getting some more money. They're taking what they brought in last year, and then what they, the year before, the 2019 year, and figuring what they got this past school year, and seeing what the difference is, and they've got some calculations that they're going to give some of the food services, so hopefully she gets a little more money in food service. That's where we are with that. Then next you have our bills. We paid. And on page 1, down towards the bottom, 96669 to all secured security services for $30,747. That was for door buzzer and fobs for here at the district office, and fob for the wood shop door. And also it was for a camera server, and all of it came out of the general fund. And then on page 3, down towards the bottom, 96775 to the Village of Baltimore for $15,000. That was for a grinder pump, maintenance and warranty for the bus barn, and that came out of permanent improvement. And then on page 4, right towards the top, 96800 to the Village of Baltimore for $45,000. That was tap fee and grinder pump at the new athletic building, and that was $30,000 came from the building fund and $15,000 came from the permanent improvement fund. And that's what I have. And then we have the appropriations for the 08s and 200s and 300s. And our donations, we have $42.59 from Kroger Community Rewards to Ohio Model UN, $493.91 Kroger Community Rewards to the middle school principal, $34.49 Kroger Community Rewards to volleyball, a $450 donation from Pheasants Forever to FFA, and a 50-cent miscellaneous donation to the general fund. That's what I have.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cato, to approve monthly financials. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hillbrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Shuck?
Yes.
Dr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Number 8, new business financial appropriations. The treasurer recommends approval of the following appropriations changes for the fiscal year 2022. This there. Transfer funds. The treasurer requests to transfer funds from Fund 590 to 572 as necessary throughout the 2021-2022 fiscal year. C, change fund authorization. The treasurer recommends approval to establish change funds for the 2021-2022 school year. Has all the change listed. D,
Are
service.
those, are those increases from last year, or
No,
are
they're
they
the
constant?
same.
Okay.
D, service provider. The treasurer recommends approval of the following: Julian and Groovy, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023 fiscal year Medicaid school program for a fee of $3,600. Bread products. Through membership in the Metropolitan Educational Council, the Liberty Union School District has bid for bread products. Klosterman Baking Company is recommended by the food service supervisor, Jan Frederick, to provide bread for the school's cafeteria for the 2021-2022 school year. Dairy products. Through the membership in the Metropolitan Educational Council, the Liberty Union School District has bid for dairy products. United Dairy is recommended by the food service supervisor, Jan Frederick, to provide dairy products for the school for the cafeteria for 2021-2022. Kitchen supplier. Through membership in the Metropolitan Educational Council, the Liberty Union School District has bid for the kitchen food products. Gordon Food Supply is recommended by the food service supervisor, Jan Frederick, to provide products for the school cafeteria for the 2021-2022 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Walter, Ms. Cato. To approve new business, Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Shuck?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hook-Rattle?
Yes.
Alright, number 9, negotiated contract, agreement with the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education, OC, Local 4 FAL, CIO, Local 494 for a 3-year contract effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024 has been reached. The Board of Education requests approval of the contract as outlined in the agreement. Employee personnel, the superintendent recommends the following to hire. Diana Courtney, custodial elementary, effective June 22nd, 2021. Robert Kirk, engineering teacher, high school, 1-year contract, step 0, August 6th is the start date. Elena Miller, intervention specialist, middle school, 1-year contract, bachelor's, step 0, also starting August 6th, 2021. Contract placement change. The superintendent recommends approval of the following contract placement change. Alyssa Webb, RN, school nurse, 189 days of starting July 13th, 2021, and that's an 8-hour-a-day position. D, resignation. Superintendent recommends approval of the following resignation. Jeff Dupler, school nurse. Jamie Neal, English teacher, high school. Danielle Parker, 1st grade teacher, elementary school. And Whitney Probst, English teacher, high school. Extended days. The superintendent recommends approval of the following extended days. Christina Grady Watts, principal, high school, 10 days, effective July 13th through the 31st, 2021. Treasurer's contract. The superintendent recommends approval of the following contract for the following personnel. April Boyer, treasurer, 3-year, with step 4, August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024. And G, supplemental position contracts. I'm not going to read all of those. It's the superintendent recommends approval of the following supplemental contracts for the fall sports. Any questions? Ms. Boyer? Oh, I know. Let's do a motion first. How about a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cato, Mr. Hook-Rattle. To approve new business personnel. Now, Ms. Boyer.
Mr. Shuck?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hook-Rattle?
Yes.
Alright. New business other. Graduating class of 2021, the superintendent and high school principal recommend the following students for early graduation due to meeting all graduation requirements, having paid all dues and fees, and having no disciplinary constraints. Elizabeth Boggs. 2021 OSB Annual Business Meeting, the superintendent recommends that a delegate and an alternate are appointed to the 2021 OSBA Annual Business Meeting. And C, policy, the superintendent recommends approval of the following policies that were presented for review at the June 14th board meeting. That policy takes us,
So you will need to pick your people for the OSBA annual business meeting. In your folder to sign, there's a blue paper that tells where you pick your alternate and your delegate and your alternate.
so,
I don't work at Nationwide anymore.
you know,
Sorry. Can't walk across the street anymore. Is this for the November meeting, or is this some other meeting? November.
yeah, it's for, same date. Oh, there it goes. Monday, November 8th at 8 a.m. Any takers?
I probably work the closest.
All right.
TC Jones.
You can put me down as the delegate, or as the alternate if something crazy comes up. They need to make it virtual, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
So far,
Mhm.
What's that?
so far, yeah.
I mean,
Then there was, I know you're concentrating on that, Mr. Shook, but there were two other items, I don't know, under this motion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, this one, so we have Ms. Cato and,
I'll give you the 411. I'll call you.
all right. Beautiful. So that takes us
To page 28.
to page 28. Well, let me find here.
yeah,
The variance.
mine, yeah,
Okay. Disposal, the superintendent and curriculum director recommends approval to the recycle the following list of resources. There is a whole list of books, it appears. There is
it's sitting there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Page 44,
9, 10.
43 at the bottom.
that's page 43.
At least 10 or 11 pages of books that we'll be discarding. And then E, handbook, the superintendent and the building principal recommend approval of the following handbook. The high school principal handbook, the high school principal handbook is presented with changes. And the student fees, the superintendent and building principal recommend approval of the following high school fees for 2021, 2022. And it's a list of all the fees from American Government Workbook to the virtual course, credit recovery. All those are included. Any discussion? We've already discussed the delegates, so we got that figured out. Anybody else?
So nutrition and wellness fee is going away completely.
Yes.
Just making sure that wasn't a typo.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cockrell, Mr. Walter, to approve new business other. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
All right. Number 11, executive session. Executive session is requested by the superintendent. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for, I guess it would be A2, employment? Is that best fitted?
I think so, don't you?
I'm good with that.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cato, Mr. Hookrattle, at 7:47.
47.
Or 9:30, like you said last
I
night.
know.
Just throwing out random
That was
numbers.
crazy, wasn't it?
It was.
I might have been lost that day. Huh?
We had your back.
All right, Ms. Boyer.
Mr. Shuck?
Yes.
Dr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
And when we return from executive session, we'll just be returning out of it and reporting the next regular meeting and then adjourning. No action will be having after that, so.